Hey, Bob, there are three types of goals now, too, and so maybe we can start off by talking about what these generally are.
Well, the three types are outcome goals, performance goals, and process goals, at least in terms of sport.
Okay, so let's start off with outcome goals. Is that a certain kind of goal that's like more important, or how does that how can you talk about the significance of that particular goal?
Well, we don't try to talk about them in terms of importance. That they're different kind of goals, maybe they have different kind of functions. And typically outcome goals are something about winning and losing in sport. Okay, so an outcome goal, for example, is I want to win the state championship would be an outcome goal. Or if I'm in a swimming race, I want to come in 3rd place out of 10 would be an outcome goal. All right, now outcome goals, because they in relation to other people, are not under your control. So you might swim the fastest race of your life and still come in 4th place, for example. Okay, so outcome goals tell us where we're going, but some of the other goals will tell us how to get there.
Okay, all right, good. So that's certainly the kinds that I hear a lot when I hear a coach saying, well, the goals I've got for our team are, to make it to the NCAA championships or whatever. So that's, clearly an outcome goal.
Correct.
And so hopefully they've got some other kinds of goals too.
Hopefully they do. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But maybe the next level of goal is what we call a performance goal. And basically that is how well you performed. Okay? So let's take a golfer, for example. You might come in 3rd place, 8th place, or 1st place. That's your outcome. But how did you perform? I shot a 77. I shot a 74. That would be your performance. Okay.
Okay. So there's a little bit more control there.
A little bit more control there. Or take a basketball player shooting free throws. All right. So they're shooting 77% from the line. All right. It's not dependent on anyone else. Okay. So if they want to move from 77 to 80%, that would be a performance goal. Okay. And if you reach your performance goals again, it should help you reach your outcome. So whatever that outcome might be. So if I shoot 70 in golf, that should help me reach my outcome goal of maybe winning a tournament, for example.
Makes sense. Okay, and then there's kind of a 3rd level of goals.
Yeah, the 3rd level goals, and we call them process goals. And process goals are kind of like how you do the skill. Kind of, we might technically call it biomechanically. So how you do it. So for example, to stick with golf for a moment, a process goal might be keeping your head down through the contact point of the swing. Okay. A process goal in basketball to the free throw shooter might be to follow through. It might be to have a certain kind of routine. It might be to bend their legs. So it's how you do it. And most process goals, you want to really focus in practice to do those things. So if I kind of do those things well, then I'm going to perform well. So if I'm a basketball player again, and I go through and do my process well, which might be going through my routine, taking a deep breath, bending my legs, following through, then that's going to help me get a certain percentage, 75, 80%, whatever. And if I have a good percentage, that's going to help me win.
So obviously process goals then are highly controllable.
Correct.
And then the performance goals a little bit less control, and then the outcome goals very little control because you've got so many kind of outside influences.
Right.
Okay. So I guess then just kind of the last question then is where do you start? What do you do first? I mean, what kinds of goals do you start off with?
Well, I think it's good to start out with, although most sports psychologists would not and mental trainers would not want to have you focus on this, but I think you start out with an outcome goal. Where do you want to go? Okay. Now, most people will say they want to win some kind of championship or whatever it might be. Okay. So certainly at the higher levels. So you want to win the NBA championship, you want to win your league championship or whatever. But you don't want to focus on that, okay? So it's out there, it's done. Unfortunately, too many athletes and coaches, that's what their goal is, that's what their focus is. It creates anxiety, and many times the more they want to do it, probably the less likely it is that they do it. So I have that out there, and then I got to figure out, okay, what do I have to do that? Okay, I'm going to give you a football example now. So my goal is to win my division, let's say. All right? So what might be a performance goal? We want to average 100 yards, or maybe even better. We want to average 4 yards a carry. Okay, we want to average 4. Okay, whatever it might be. Okay, so how you can average 4 yards a carry? Well, we have to work on our blocking technique, let's say up front. Maybe we have to work on make sure we handle the ball well, the quarterback gives it to the halfback well. May have to work on our quickness. Maybe have to work on our strength. Those would all be process goals. So again, our process would lead to better performance, which would lead to better outcomes.
Right, so it doesn't make any sense to start with the process goals because you don't really know,
you don't know where
you're
you're
going yet. So start with the end in mind and then work yourself backwards so then you know what kind of performance you need and then what you need to do to get that performance.
Exactly.
Great.